Hello, ghouls and ghoulettes. Welcome back to Poem Wednesday, even though it's happening on a Thursday today. I got sidetracked yesterday. I am so sorry. But today we are going to try to get through The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. So, let's begin. Once upon a midnight dreary, where I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember walked its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden from the angel's name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of such purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," I said, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was a whisper word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," I said, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see what threat there it is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, at this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shoulder, when with many a flirt and flutter, and there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore, not the least obeisance made he. Not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door. perched upon the bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiled my sad fancy into smiling. By the grave and stern disram of the, these are big words, countenance it wore, though thy crest be sown and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no cavern, ghastly grim, an ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night Plutonim's shore, quoth the raven, nevermore. I'm sorry if I'm messing this up. I'm trying to get through it as best as I can. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answered little meaning, little reverence bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no human being, ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door. Bird or beast upon the sculpture bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, nothing a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by the reply so abruptly spoken, doubtless, I said, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dredges of his hope and melancholy burden bore of nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking, what this ominous bird of yore? What this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore? This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushioned velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining, with the lamp light gloating o'er, see Cypress, nevermore. Then, then methought the air grew denser, perfume from the unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the shuffled floor. Wench, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee. We spite the nymph from the memories of Lenore. Quiff, or quiff, this kind niflint, and forgot lost Lenore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, I said, thing of evil, prophet still the bird or devil, whether tempered scent or whether tempest tossed thee here a sore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore. This there is there balm in Geeland? Tell me, I implore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, I said, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul of sorrow laden if within the distant ALLAN. No, there's no L's there. Aden. It shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. Clasp the rare and rated maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest of the night's plutonium sore. Leave no black fume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my lowliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door, take the beak from my heart, and take thy form from off my door, quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never fleeting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of the demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. And that is The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Thank you for watching me suffer through this. But I do like this poem. It's one of my all-time favorite poems. I'm going to have it in the description, so if I messed it up, you can always read through it as I try to read it out loud to you. But thank you for coming to this Poem Wednesday. Like, subscribe, have a nice day.